Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh of MitsuTimes. Today, my guest is Mr. Matt Galliano, the driver, sometimes, of the Tan Can, Grade A Garage's Tan Evo 10. How are you doing today, sir?
Good, man. You?
I'm great. Matt, it's always an honor to be in your presence, man. I think you've forgotten more about cars than I'll ever know, and I love the energy that you give off, so it's an absolute pleasure to have you on here.
Appreciate that, brother.
So, Matt, I want to talk about the Tan Can as it sits right now. What's the setup on it?
So it's just our race spec engine, X-Chef sequential, 7685 next gen on it right now. Trying to think, Magnus dry sump, Motec M150, PDM. I mean, it's pretty basic shit, man, that anybody that wants to go fast can go out and buy.
So, that's what I was going to say when you said it was your race spec engine. If someone out there, they want to do a crazy Evo 10 build, they could just bring it to your shop and copy and paste, right?
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
They can, if they want to do it themselves, they can go right on our website and purchase the motor, add the cart, and buy the race spec motor. It's the same exact motor that, was at the shootout going 8-0s and making it to the semifinals.
Yeah. Wow, that's super cool. So, Matt, you guys have been well known to build lots of cars. What was it that made you want to build this Evo 10 when at the time it was kind of like one of those things where no one had done it yet?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I like to be different, obviously. I like to take the hard road, I guess you could say. World Cup finals probably 10 years ago, Lucas had the Evo 10 there with the competition clutch wrap, and it was just the only car like it, on the property.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, that would be cool. And I had already owned 2 of them Evo 10s at the time. So I bought a brand new one in 2014 and made it a street car, got bored with it, made like 750 wheel and got bored with it and turned the thing into a straight drag car.
That's awesome. So, Matt, over the years, like you said, you started out from factory fresh. What different setups have you had on it that you really like? That if someone out there has Evo 10, they just want to go a little bit faster, what setups did you really like that you would recommend? I
mean, you really can't go wrong with, an ETS top mount with a 64, 66 on it. You just can't go wrong. It's a 850 horsepower car, with the right components, the right engine, things like that. The cars are fast, they're fun, and they can be fairly reliable on the right ECU and in the right hands. That's a very big deal, is the right people putting the car together.
Yeah. Like you said, somebody wants to buy all the components they can, but it takes something special to put it all together and make it be, go as fast as you guys push it.
Absolutely. If it was easy, there would be a lot more than 2 Evos in the world that win 8.
Yeah.
Well, now 3, so 3 Evos.
So when you first picked this car up, Matt, did you have an original goal in mind, or you just wanted to have fun with it?
When I bought this car, it was just going to be a street car.
Okay.
I had just parted out my drag Civic, so really wasn't looking for another race car. So that was in 14, just looking for a street car. I had the car for a month. The car made 500 wheel, stock motor, 500 horsepower. This was in 14.
Wow.
And that was early in the year, and then midsummer I built a motor in the car, put a Sidewinder on it, 64, 66, and the car made 750 wheel on running out of fuel, so that was pretty fun car on the street. And then after that, it just, then it turned into a race car because I got bored with it.
Grew out of control.
Yeah.
So, Matt, was there anything that you would say, looking back on it, like if you could start over fresh and do one of these builds again, is there anything that you would have changed?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have purchased a brand new car to do it. So the car when I parked it, the car had 6,000 miles on it.
No kidding. Wow.
6,200 to be exact. I still got the cluster for it. God. So I could have definitely started with a way cheaper chassis.
What was the original color?
The cosmic blue.
Oh, okay. I like the tan a lot better. That's a good wrap.
Same, man. Like the paint was perfect, and at the time I was still doing paint work. I literally drove by a dealership and saw that color, on a Toyota Tacoma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh shit, that color just says, hey, I'm here to fuck shit up.
Yep, I'm here to party.
I'm like, just straight painted the entire car, inside, outside, engine bay.
Oh wow, I thought it was a wrap. Wow, painted. That's badass.
That's paint. And I painted that car in 2016.
Damn, it still looks factory fresh.
Yeah,
that's killer. So Matt, you could have, obviously you have a fleet of cars that you campaign through the country. You don't have to campaign the Evo 10 still, but you do. So what is it about this car that motivates you to keep pushing it?
Just there's some newer shops out there that think that, they know a lot more than what they do. So, that kind of lights a fire under my ass because we as in me and English Racing, them more so than I, have had a lot of growing pains with this car.
Yeah.
We know what it takes to make these cars go fast. It's a lot more than just a dyno number. It's definitely more than a dyno number. To keep these cars together, and I'm straightforward with everybody about my failures. A lot of people aren't. So that's kind of what lights a fire under us. And then, of course, the new owner, Miguel, is a great guy. So, we're going to get him out this year. We're going to do a track rental for him in April, and then his first event will be in May.
That's awesome.
So, I kind of I would love to see him, by the shootout, maybe be trying to, push the car into the sevens.
Yeah, that'd be great. Getting more comfortable behind the wheel. I noticed, I think it was not last year's shootout, but the year before last, he was still, getting familiar with everything.
Yeah, and that was, this is his first race car. That's a lot of car to try to start out with, throw somebody in and just try to explain something to him. You can only do so much explaining with no experience.
Right.
So he's still wet behind the ears, but he'll get it.
Yeah.
He's a smart man, and he's eager, so he'll get it.
I got no doubt you'll have him there soon enough. So Matt, what was the setup on this car when it broke into the nines, and around what time frame was it?
So the very first pass this car ever went down a drag strip, the car went a 9.8.
No kidding. Holy
The
cow.
very first pass. It was at the shootout in 2017. The car had just gotten finished up. The shootout started on Friday. The car got finished on Wednesday. The car was on I'm trying to think, we've been through more turbos than I can even think about. The setup was very basic back then. It was still a synchronized transmission, Excetti triple disc. TRE just, went through the transmission, T-case, all that stuff. Evo 8 rear diff. The motor was still a steel rod, Manley turbo top rods. Had Wiseco HD pistons, off-the-shelf pistons, just very, very basic. This was at the beginning stages of that car. Still a wet sump, oiling system, Trying to think. The turbo was, I think the turbo was a 6785 Gen 1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the thing took about 2.5 days to spool. It was on a Haltech 2500 back then. So, no strain gauge, nothing.
Wow.
I was still manually shifting the car, clutching it every gear. Basic, it was a basic setup. The car went Friday at the shootout in 2017. The car broke the monolock on the clutch.
Wow.
The very next day, the first pass on Saturday, the car went 9.8. The second pass, the car went 9.5 or 9.6. The third pass, the car went a 9.4. And then we were into eliminations, first round of eliminations. It left the rear diff and the drive shaft on the starting line.
Is that weekend when you realize, like, all right, we might be able to do something with this car?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
3 passes in, and the car was sitting at number 3 in the world on the third pass.
Wow.
At the time. So, threw a new rear diff in and drive shaft and took it out 2 weeks later, and the car went a 9.2. And it was number 2 in the world.
Man.
So it was just very fast progress. I mean, it wasn't our first race car we built.
Right.
So we knew what we was doing as far as, what it takes to go fast in a car. But, the engine program took a good while to develop.
Mm-hmm.
We had our growing pains with the 4B11, that's for sure. When you start getting up over 1,000 wheel, you start on steel rods. It didn't like the bearings. But it was a lot of shit we figured out over the years, and that's where we're at now.
Is it the engine or is it the drivetrain that's holding back a lot of the Evo 10s?
I don't think it's anything.
Okay.
I think it's the builders.
People just need to put more money into them.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I really don't think anything's holding them back. English Racing went 7 7s. That's absolutely absurd.
Yeah, for sure.
I got back in our car at the shootout this year. I haven't drove that car since 21 at World Cup Finals. And 3 passes in, and we went an 8-0. And then we went 8-0, 8-0, 8-0. We went 5 8-0s that weekend.
Yeah. Like it was a bracket car.
Exactly. So I don't. That car was one launch away from being a 7-8 car.
Yeah.
We couldn't get the 60 down, and the car used to have, one of the best short tracks out there for an Evo, and we couldn't get it dialed in. But it was the first time the car was out in damn near 2 years.
I thought you were just taking it easy on it, Matt.
I never take it easy on anything. 180 mile an hour ain't taking it easy.
This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by Club Spec Custom Designs. They pride themselves on providing the highest level of customer service and satisfaction with their innovative designs and quality. They guarantee that you will be amazed with the results that will be produced. They are providing quality products for your Mitsubishi Lancer Rallyart, Mitsubishi Evolution 10, or Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. Check out all their products at clubspecchicago.com.
So, Matt, what was that first 8-second pass? What was the setup and around what time was it?
So, first 8-second pass was at World Cup Finals in 2018. Yeah. 2018 World Cup Finals on a synchronized transmission. The car went 885.
Man.
Yeah. And so at that time it went 885 at 165. And the car was making maybe a tad over 900 wheel.
No kidding.
And the transmissions it would beat the input shaft bearing through the bell housing on them after about 10 launches. So then it was time, after World Cup Finals that year, that's when I went to a dog box like English Racing had.
Yeah. Man. So Matt, you've been campaigning this Evo 10 for a long time now. What are your big takeaways from the 4B11 and the Evo 10 after being into so many different chassis throughout your lifetime?
I mean, it's a good motor. Anytime you're pushing any of these cars, to the limits like that, you're going to find the failures. It doesn't matter how good the parts are. Eventually, you're going to find a failure. Mm-hmm. There are some motors that are better than others. I mean, not everybody can have a R35 GTR motor and making 2,000 plus on the street and shit like that, but it's a 4-cylinder,
Right.
They have their ups, they have their downs. Every single one of them do. The Hondas, the Mitsubishis, all of them. So I think the motor, it's a very solid motor.
Yeah. It seems like we're really getting into, the renaissance of finding all the failures and replacing those with better parts.
Yeah. And the problem is a lot of companies don't want to dive in to make parts when there isn't a lot of people out there racing them.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a handful, maybe 10 in the country that actually go to the track and race these things, like, whether they're street and strip cars or just, straight drag cars.
Yeah.
There's not that many that are just full-blown race cars out there.
For sure.
So companies aren't going to, back it like they back the 4G.
Yeah. Well, Matt, I have to ask, is there a plan to get this car back on top of the Evo 10 list?
I mean, there's always a plan for that. If I had to say so in that, I would say absolutely. Unfortunately, it's not my car anymore.
Right.
But, I think Miguel has the same mindset. So, yeah, I mean, I would like to at least challenge them. They got the bar set high.
Yeah.
Them guys are very good at their job, and there's nobody out there better than them right now. So it's going to be tough, but yeah, I'd like to try it.
Well, I look forward to that for sure. So, Matt, what are the goals for 2024 with this car?
Get Miguel going A to B and making some 8-second passes would be, perfect. That would be a mission accomplished, in my opinion. I think that he would be very happy with it too.
Be a successful 2024 for sure.
Yes.
So what about long-term goals? I guess it's kind of redundant. Long-term goal just to get back on top, or do you think Miguel has a number in mind that he really wants to run?
I mean, long-term goal is a 7-second pass out of the car.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. To go 7s in an all-wheel drive Evo that's an accomplishment.
For sure.
And I don't care if it's an Evo 10, an Evo 8, 9, it doesn't matter. That is just an accomplishment. Them guys in the 8 have fought that for so many years and finally got it, Now there's only one Evo 10 that's in the 7s, so hopefully, we can change that and be the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like, when it comes to the 8-9s, it was like there was a recipe out there and one person found it, and then kind of sort of a couple people found it. Now a handful of people have found it.
I agree. And now, Rafe just has that shit on lockdown.
Yeah. There's a carrier pigeon that told me that he's building an Evo 10 so he can have some fun with you guys.
Yeah? Well, that's good. Competition is good.
Yeah.
We're also building a Evo 10 for another customer that is the Tan Can's twin, except Phantom Black.
Nice.
So it's on a DL right now, but that is in the works. I don't know if it'll be done this year, but it will definitely be done for next year.
Man, that's exciting to hear. I like you said, there's not a lot of people out there building drag cars, so when another one's coming out like that, that just makes me super excited.
Yeah, and like I said, it's going to be pretty much the twin of the Tan Can.
Awesome. So, Matt, what events can we see the Tan Can in action at in 2024?
So the two that are definitely going to be locked in is Maple Grove in May, Import Revival, and then we're going to do, of course, the shootout. I don't know. We'll see, what his skill set is after them two. If Miguel is up for it, I'd love to get that car back to Maryland.
Yes, definitely. Would love to see, see some more Mitsubishis out there for sure. That would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Matt, maybe there is someone out there thinking about taking their Evo 10 build a little bit more serious. And, it seems like World Cup is now the thing to do. Maybe they want to build Evo 10 that is World Cup capable. What advice would you give them for their build so they don't have any setbacks and they can be as successful as possible?
Well, the first one is work with the right shop and companies. Mm-hmm. That's the first big one. The second one is, pick, if that's what you want to do, pick a class. Don't change it. If you want to run Wild Street, or if you want to run, Super Street, or I don't even know what the other ones are, the other one is, but, if you want to run Super Street, get your turbo specs, get that, and stick with it. Don't change it.
Yeah.
These guys want to take their cars, they get one race in, then they want to take it back home and change them up. Get seat time. You have to know how to drive these cars. The launch in them, the 60-foot is all in the driver. I think it's 75% driver. It's 25% setup. Those are the biggest things that I can think of. You just got to work with the right companies and the right shops.
I think that's sound advice. We've heard on here before is, how do you get up to the top of the list? Well, you have to team up with a shop who's also at the top of the list, right?
Yep. We're not biased. If I was still racing the car, more power to you. We'll line up. I mean, you're going to have to outdrive me, which probably won't happen, but I'll build you the same exact car.
Yeah.
Yep. We don't hold secrets back here. We sell them every day.
Hell yeah. So, Matt, where can people find and follow Grade A Garage on social media so they can see some more pictures of this Tan Can, see it in action?
So we got Instagram. It's just at Grade A Garage. We have a Facebook page, the Grade A Garage. We have a website, gradeagarage.com. We actually just launched a new one yesterday. So it's going to be getting updated, if not daily, weekly, with new parts, new sections. So you can go on there, shop. You can buy all these parts that we use on the Tan Can and, the record-setting GTR that we have. All these parts will be sold on our website.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Well, Matt, at the end, I always give people a chance to give a thanks or a shout-out to anybody who's helped them get where they are, get their car where it is. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout-out to?
There's a couple. Corbin Johnson, definitely got to thank Corbin. He's the man behind the keys. He took over the program in 21, and it's awesome. It's through the roof. I can't thank that man enough. Luke at P&R for doing all of our machine work on our engines. John Ripple for building just badass driveline parts.
Oh, yeah.
Magnus, for doing everything we need for them. And that's just my guys at my shop. That's it. They're the guys who put in all the work.
Awesome. Well, Matt, I know you're a busy man. I appreciate you coming on here and telling the story of the Tan Can, man. I really appreciate everything that you do for me, for the community, for this car, and I hope that you keep doing it forever.
No problem, man. I look forward to helping many more people.
Heck yeah. All right, Matt. Well, I'll talk to you soon. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.